Alright, so I have the Corolla in the garage, and this has been a while since I bought this, but haven't had much time to do it. So finally, it's the cold air intake for the turbo. So pretty much, if you are aware, the turbo is all the way down there with the filter, which it gets really hot back there, so not getting the coldest air. And what it does is it routes it from there and brings it up to somewhere around over here. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. I hope this is the only parts I need. I think I lost the clamps if there were any, but I will take a look and see if I can find them. But let's get that filter off and try to reroute this so that way I can have a colder intake. So it would be nice to be able to bring it up more into the front of the car, but there's a lot of other stuff going on over here, so I'm not going to. But probably in the future, I do plan on taking my battery and moving it to the back. And once I do that, it'll free up more room for me to try to clean up a lot more of this other stuff here and get it looking a lot cleaner. But let's start taking everything apart here and trying to figure this out. Alright, so I just took off all of this stuff. This is just kind of like to make the job a million times easier. Taking off your windshield wipers and the shroud and everything like that. Took me maybe 15-20 minutes, but it gives you like a whole nother like 8 inches or so to work back here. But now you can see the turbo and everything on it. So it seems to be pretty good. This is also a good time for me to kind of inspect things when I'm down there, just to see it. But yeah, so now I have this kind of mocked up how it's supposed to go. So it's kind of going to go in the car kind of like this. This elbow is going to come off the turbo, come up, down a little bit to, I believe, go past some of those coolant lines. And then you shoot it back up so that way the intake is pretty much right where my catch can is. So hopefully I won't have to move that around, but if I do, hopefully I'll be able to find some place to do it. So, but right now, yeah, let's try to tackle back there and see what we can do. Alright, so I got the filter off. It's a little crushed because it's very tight squeeze back there. Alright, and I just also tightened up one of these banjo bolts right here. I believe that's what they're called, for the coolant lines. Only reason why I tightened it, I can see there's a little bit of coolant residue on the outside of it. So just try to snug it up just a little bit more. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but this one right here looks like there's a little bit of residue on the outside of it. Because I think too, when I did change my oil on the 500-mile checkup on this, it did look like there was a little bit of coolant residue, but I wasn't sure where it was coming from. So, but seeing that, I think that might be my problem. And it doesn't look like it's a major leak. Everything was very dry. It does look like everything's gonna be a very tight squeeze, but hopefully we'll get it on there. All right, like I said, this does seem like it's gonna be a very tight fit over here. I'm not sure how they really plan on having this, but looks like we're going to have to kind of come right in between, or maybe it's around, I'm not sure. Alright, I'll have to kind of play with that and see. Alright, I'm just leaving everything kind of loose right now, just so I can make sure I get everything to fit. Alright, so this one's going to be the complicated one. So I can already see I'm having a problem with my oil catch can, which is not what I wanted to see. But I might be able to move it a little bit and see where I can get it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or not. This is going to look very cramped if I do. But there's another hole I can mount my oil catch can to. But then seeing where this is at is going to make it look very clustered over here. And I don't have a lot of this, I don't have a lot of extra slack in these lines to like easily reposition this. So I'm gonna try my best what I can do. And then like I always say, I'm just gonna try to fix it later. Even though half the stuff I always say I'm gonna fix, I haven't done yet, but I do plan on doing that hopefully sooner or later. So I'm gonna just mess around with this for a little bit and see what I can do. And hopefully I can make it look cleaner and also have the hood closed, because I don't know where it's going to land. Alright, so messing with this for, I don't know, probably around like 15 minutes. Honestly, it's just, everything in here is just a complete mess. Like I would love to just take this motor out and then just start fresh. I would love to do that, but that's definitely like out of the question right now, because there's no sense of taking out a perfectly good motor just to try to make it look a little cleaner. But the cold air intake is installed. I do have to kind of go through, just make sure everything else is tightened up again, but it comes out from the turbo, then comes through the back of the engine, then aims its way up to right here. So that's where the filter is at. But it is touching my, well, first off, it's touching the wire harness, which isn't a big deal. I can always just kind of zip tie that over more. I do need to do something with my wire management sooner or later, but since it has that piggyback harness, it kind of throws itself to the side and doesn't have enough room to really be over here. But I think a zip tie will clean that up. And then it is kind of touching my oil catch can. So, but the easy thing would be to take the oil catch can out, but I really don't want to, seeing how well it's actually working. So at this moment, I do not, like I said, I do not have any extra hose. I mean, I think I might have like maybe 6 inches of it or something like that, but not much to really do anything. But maybe in the future, try to run that. You know, actually a good place would probably be somewhere over here. So that way this can lay a little bit flatter. But I think for now, with it just sucking air like it's supposed to, I think anything better than being right next to the turbo will be better. So I'm going to try to clean this up and get it looking a little bit better. But I don't know how much better I'm going to get it to look with trying to cram everything into here. Like, it's kind of what happens when you put a turbo on a car that's not meant to have a turbo. So, and then you're trying to route everything around all the coolant lines and vacuum lines, and it's just an ugly engine to begin with, so it's not anything pretty. So yeah, I'm just going to try to clean this up a little bit more, see if I can straighten this up a little bit better, and then I'll put everything back together and we'll go for a test drive and see. I don't think any more power gains are really going to be. I mean, there might be a little bit more because I'm sucking in colder air, so I'm not getting as hot of air, so the intercooler can actually do its job better. But other than that, yeah, I'm just going to clean this up, try to make it look as clean as I can, even though it never looked clean to begin with. Alright, so got everything all tidied up. It actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to, so I think it's more about just all my vacuum lines and electrical that need to really get cleaned up. It is kind of touching my oil catch can, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But I mean, if it is, then let me know. But it's not, I don't think it's that big of a deal at all. Might obstruct airflow maybe just a little bit, but I don't see why. It has all the other area around the filter to also suck in air. So yeah, it looks good. Let's give the car a start up. Alright, everything sounds pretty good. Don't hear anything wrong. And I don't know, maybe this might make the turbo sound a little louder. You might be able to hear it more. Alright, so just taking the Corolla out real quick. We'll just see how it feels. Like I said, I don't think it's really gonna feel much different, but we'll just see how it feels. I mean, it feels pretty good, but probably feels the same. Alright, so just looking for a test drive. Everything seemed to be pretty good. Doesn't really seem to add much power at all. I didn't think it really would, but it is good to know that I'm getting a little bit cooler air into the engine, so possibly could be making better power with better tune. But yeah, I mean, feels good, looks good. I mean, you can see it right here, looks good. Doesn't look too bad. It is touching this, but I don't know what else I can really do for now. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. So, but yeah, sooner or later, I know I keep mentioning it, I do need to clean up all this vacuum stuff because it is just a mess, and try to get all this other stuff done. So, but tell me if getting a lightweight flywheel is actually worth it or not. Because I'm debating on it when I do the clutch, if I should just swap that out into it, or if just keep my standard flywheel, since I don't know how much better or worse it would make things being boosted or not. So, but yeah, sooner or later, I know I keep getting comments about the dyno. That is coming, but I need to button up all this other stuff like I'm doing now. Sooner or later too, I need to also not upgrade, but add some more gauges. The boost gauge I have is okay, but I want to probably get a nicer one. Probably something that is digital? I don't know. I'll have to see what I can find. So that way I don't have to run this stupid vacuum tubing through here. Because I actually think it might be squeezing it a little bit, because the boost pressure is reading a little bit lower than when I first put it in, so I think it's getting squeezed through the firewall or something like that, and it's really hard to keep it from getting squeezed when there's 500 other wires running through there. So, but with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.